the last thought on that is that in the sort of the textbooks, right, about design for manufacturing and assembly, they suggest something interesting, is that they say, of course, you're going to manufacture the parts before you assemble the parts. But when you think of how the product is going to be manufactured, and you want to optimize things, first, actually, you consider assembly. And then you think, okay, how to make it with fewer parts, how to make it in a most simple way. And then you think, okay, now these parts, like instead of having 38 different parts, actually we thought of how to combine things and so on. Then we're going to figure out how to manufacture them. And in some cases, the trade-off is we're going to make some parts maybe that are a bit more complicated, the molding, of the custom parts, and maybe some over molding and something. They're already going to be more complex parts right out of the tooling. However, when this has been studied, they found that it's much better to go with more complex parts that require a much more simple assembly. And that's kind of the opposite of what everybody's been doing in China, right? Do you have that feeling?
Yeah, I think that everything is going to kind of modularization. So because once you've got a module that has been already manufactured in a high yield environment, then all you have to do is just assemble the modules. So and each module is considered one component, really. And so then that way it looks like you're actually assembling very little parts. You got 10 modules, you connect, and that's 10 parts. It's much easier to do that than assembling 100 different parts, and you got 300 people working on the assembly line. And the more people you have, and the more parts you have, you are increasing a chance of some kind of a mishap or failure, and the reliability goes down, as you know. And I think that those are great ideas. When it comes to, for example, mobile phone system, when you're assembling mobile phone, it used to be that you had to assemble every single part, and that just was not only hell, and the reliability was terrible. But now they have pretty much like modularized it. The display assembly is just one module. That's it. The whole display, all the electronics, everything is all combined into one module. You put that in the cover, which is another part, and then you just connect it to the main PCB, and now you've got 3 parts there, and then you got another battery and some other covers and so forth. Basically less than 10 different modules, and you've got the whole thing assembled. In fact, the wonderful thing about modularization is that you can repair it easily. Basically, you can troubleshoot and find out where the problem is. Then you realize that, okay, it's in this module, you just replace that module. And actually cost of repairs go down in that kind of way. And in fact, I think a while back, Toyota did that with their products. Basically, you just had to figure out and troubleshoot where the problem was, and you just take that part out and put another part in. And that's why a lot of people loved Toyota, because they could just do the repairs themselves. And so I think going to that direction, and eventually everything is going to go to disposable, right? The price of mobile phone will go down to a point that, if they let it, so that
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, ask Apple about that.
I don't think it's going to happen so soon anyway. But yeah, eventually modularization is going to get to a point where you can just have maybe 5 pieces, and then you just have a very short assembly line for DFA. A lot of the process is going to be automated, or it's going to be in a way that the manual assembly is not going to affect the reliability or quality.